Buddy, I'll just put it a bit further. It's very close. I hope you can all still hear me. So I have a bit of time and I thought I'm gonna pop on and do a live on my YouTube, which I haven't done for a million years. And today's topic, I'm just gonna head straight into the topic. Today's topic is about why playing hard to get will never work. And here's a very, very short answer because it's a game and games begin and games end. Even like taking an example of a player, right? How long will a player pretend to be a good guy for a girl, right? How long will he be able to do that for? Couple weeks, couple months, like, and then you're gonna start to see through his games. You're gonna be like, your actions don't match your words, you sound a bit like a hypocrite, I don't feel like I can trust you, you're telling me one thing, doing another. So ladies, if a guy who's a player cannot pretend to be, a good guy for a long period of time, how you going to pretend to be high value for a long period of time? It doesn't work. Playing hard to get will never work. And why it doesn't work? It doesn't work because being high value ultimately comes down from your core. It's very easy to fake it, let's say, playing hard to get. What do you do when you play hard to get? You're like, you don't see a guy at the last minute, you don't text him first, you don't call him first, you make him jealous, you create chaos in his life, you basically pretend to be high value. You can pretend it again, as I said, same as the player. He can pretend to be a good guy for a few months and then he fails because the truth naturally comes out. Same for a girl. She can pretend to be high value for a month, 2 months, maybe even for a year until you guys start to live together, and then eventually the truth comes out. So why the game doesn't work? The game doesn't work because to actually be high value, as I said, it comes from the core, and it ultimately comes down to your self-value, self-worth, doing the right thing, your moral beliefs. And this core has to be very, very strong to stay high value forever. If this core is very weak, and if ultimately you're actually really insecure and you have a lot of issues, a lot of perhaps abandonment issues, a lot of traumas, etc., etc., and you're trying to hide it all, by being high value and sweep this all under the carpet, a lot of times after a while these issues will start to show. And I see it a lot in my clients because I've been coaching now for a very long time, well, very long time, since 2018, more like full time since 2018. And I have very long-term clients, so clients that have been with me for over 4 years. And I can just see it's like, ladies, you have not worked on your kind of ultimate deep issues, because I see my clients 4 years later still asking the same questions. Greta, why can't I text him first? I just want to do like, how I feel. Or for example, Greta, he didn't text me for a week, and now finally she gets that message, and let's say my client is asking her out, and she's like, Greta, but I know all the rules, I could literally be a coach, but I can't do it. Why can't you do it? Why can't you do it? I actually was coaching another client as well, and she's like, Greta, it's so easy to know everything, but to do it, it's so hard. And I have another client who's like, I just like, I look at her because I know her for 5 years, and like, she's just like, a complete chaos again. And I'm like, ladies, get yourself together. So why does it not work? It does not work because these ladies have not solved their deep core issues. That's why it's still not working. These ladies are still in their hearts, are still desperate, are still insecure. Something bad happens and we lose all their self-belief. We lose all the value that we thought we already have, only because we never worked on their core. We never worked on their issues. And so I know I bring on the faith nowadays quite a lot, but I'm gonna tell you something. I'll tell you from my experience why I do what I'm coaching, okay? And I'm not trying to kind of blow my horn and stuff like that, but I'll tell you why I do what I coaching. And it's actually very, very simple. And it literally comes down from a belief that my parents built into me when I was very, very little. And don't get me wrong, in my 20s and well, in 30s, I was already behaving high value. But in my 20s, I did a lot of low value mistakes. I did a lot of them. I probably did like, I don't know, like really many, many of them. But then I realized that I'm doing mistakes. It was kind of easy for me to fix those things because I always felt like I have a lot of value, right? I just didn't know how to present it in the right way. So when I learned the strategies, when I learned how to be high value, it's like there is no going back. It just makes sense, and I have the strength to do it. So again, going back to having the strength to do it, why do I have the strength to do it? I have the strength to do it because when I was little, my dad always told me that I am very, very valuable and very, very worthy. Always. Yes, I had lots of fights with my dad, to be honest, like even until my late 20s, we had a lot of arguments, a lot of things going on, a lot of, as we all do with parents. And my arguments with my dad, I remember, would always be extreme until I learned how man mind works. But one thing that he did, not one, many things he did really perfectly to me, but this one is just like he always told me that I'm very valuable and very worthy. In a way, he even made sound like I am too good. Like I'm so good, I'm so valuable, and I'm so worthy. And what he told me a lot of times, and don't get me wrong, we were going to church maybe twice in a year, really for the special occasions. Sometimes we wouldn't even do for that. We wouldn't even go for that. But I remember him always telling me, Greta, the most important thing in a person is your good heart. Like he would tell me this all the time. And I remember reading the Bible later, and in the Bible, it literally says, the most important thing in a person to God is their good heart. And as a girl, as a child, I was very feminine. I was insanely feminine. I was very, even though I climbed all the trees and teased all the boys and stuff like that, I still was like just very soft, very sweet, very like not fragile, but just very feminine. And for me, when my dad would say like the good heart is just like everybody would say like Greta's such a good girl. She's so kind. She's so this. She's so that. She's such a good girl. So to me, that was like I'm good. I'm a good person. So when I started to learn the high value strategies and how to respect yourself, how to value yourself, how to projected onto others, how to show people how to say no, what the differences between men and women. If a guy is would be disrespecting me, it would be easy for me to set in a boundary, because I would be like, how dare you disrespect me? I don't relate to this. I did not grow up in that toxic background. How dare you put me down? It would be very easy for me to kind of shut the door and walk away. So whereas a lot of people didn't have that. A lot of people grew up in the toxic background where we were, instead of being lifted up as children, instead of being made believe that you're good, you're a valuable and worthy person and you can achieve anything and everything. That's what I was made believe. Oh, you want to be, I don't know, like the most famous, play for NBA. Oh, you can do it, easy. That was my parents, right? Oh, of course you can do it. You just have to really believe. But a lot of people didn't grow up with this type of upbringing, and we were actually told the opposite. You will never achieve this. This is too hard. You're too positive. You need to be realistic, or very negative beliefs. So these kids, these people were always put down. They grew up, and when they dating the guy, and the guy is being rude and disrespectful, and he says some bad stuff to the girl, right? And she believes him. She's like, oh, I relate to this. My mom or dad told me that I'm not good enough. That is true. And we stick around. In these toxic relationships. It's also called trauma bonding. I'm sure majority of you know about it. But this is also going back to my point. This is why playing games doesn't work, because if you have not sorted out your traumas with, like your trauma kind of stuff, and you're looking at this high value, how to get a guy, how to get married and all of that, how to have this happy, successful relationship, you're looking at this and you're like applying all these strategies, applying all the structure. If you're still like, the structure is working, but if you're still trauma bonding, long term something bad will happen, because it happens to all of us. And then you're gonna go back straight to your issues, because you don't have a healthy core. So I would say, ladies, if you don't want to end up like one of my clients who, like 3 years down the line, still asking the same questions, I would say really, really dig down and sort those insecurities, sort those traumas. Believe in yourself, believe that you're valuable and worthy, believe that God loves us all the same. We all have, as people, exactly the same value and worth. All of us, no matter the color, no matter, tall, short, skinny, fat, whatever, like we all have the same value and worth. It's just your belief system that is kind of digging you a hole. So I highly recommend you two ladies work on that. And also, I also do life coaching as well. So if you want to check this out, where we can talk about your issues and stuff like that, I also do that. So if you want to check this out, like, just look me up on my website. Now, what else did I want to talk about? Okay, so I want to talk a little bit about, ladies, for a lot of you that follow me, especially in the beginning, you find me, you like what I'm coaching, you apply some tips and you're like, wow, it's working, he's chasing and pursuing me, this is fun, I feel like a princess, like this is nice. A lot of you take it out of context and you start to become a bit too selfish, a bit too arrogant. It becomes all about me, 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 me. And long term, again, this stuff does not work, because if a guy is smart, if he's over 30, 35, and he sees that you're constantly putting yourself first and everything has to go your way, yes, in the beginning, if he doesn't have that much experience and he's early 20s, it might work because he'll just see you as a queen and you'll just jump around and do whatever you want when you just click your fingers, right? As long as you're showing self-value and self-respect. But if a guy is older, he's much more mature, he's much more wise, he had experience, he will be like, hon, you're too selfish. I'm not gonna jump every single time you click your fingers. So my point is, it's really important to have a balance. You know, like there is the saying going on everywhere, like love yourself, love yourself, love yourself. And I feel like it's really taken out of context. It's like love yourself, you know, it's like the life is not just about you. The life is not just about me. The life is about me and my family, me and my friends, you know, me and my neighbor. It's not just me under the sun, it's all of us together. So if you're gonna be putting yourself first all the time, what you're gonna do, you're gonna start taking other people for granted too. And we will start to see it. We will be like, Greta, you're not fair, you're too arrogant, you're too selfish, you know, and then most people will start to step back and the relationships just will not work. This is why it's so important not to follow the saying blindly, love yourself, but love love thy neighbor as you love yourself. So don't put yourself first blindly. That is just you. And also don't let people take you for granted, that, you know, like you're just doing everything for everyone, or you're not saying no to anything. And then at the end of the day, because you're people pleasing so much, you actually have nothing done for yourself in your life as well. So it's like life, healthy relationship is all about balance. Everything is balance. And yes, sometimes in life we must put ourselves blindly if first, if looking at the bigger picture it makes sense, and if looking at the bigger picture it's good for others as well. For example, you know, 2019, 2020, I was working on my business 14 hours a day. I didn't talk to anyone. I didn't talk to my parents. I didn't talk to anyone. I had no time. I would, you know, go meet up my friend for half a day in a whole week. I would actually have it scheduled. That's how busy I was, because I was blindly putting myself first, you know. But I blindly put myself first for a bigger picture, you know, so I perhaps can build a business, so I can help more people, so I can earn more money. And then I can help, once I have a stability, I can help people around me, right? So if you're putting yourself first for a bigger picture, that's one thing. But if you're putting yourself first just because out of your selfishness, you know, people will leave you. People will leave you. You'll get to the top and you'll be there on that top by yourself, you know, feeling lonely and isolated. And, you know, like, money does not give you a hug at night. You know, it just doesn't work like that. So it's really important to, you know, have the balance if you want to be happy in life, and don't put yourself blindly first, and don't let other people take you for granted either. Okay, so let me look at your comments. Hello everybody. Hello. If you have any questions for me and you like want to ask me some, I can stay on for another 10 to 15 minutes and happy to answer them. And actually right now I'm looking at my book. It's called Devoted Relationships, and I'm actually gonna talk about something else in here. And since we're talking a lot about self-love on this live, I wanted to bring up a topic that talks about guilt and shame. And I have it actually written in my book. And you know, a lot of times nowadays, people say, oh, you know, like guilt and shame is irrelevant. These feelings are irrelevant. You know, if you did something wrong, just forget about it, let go of it. You know, it doesn't matter. There is no wrong thing. Right and wrong is subjective. One night stands are completely fine. Go enjoy yourself, have fun, right? Have fun. you're not in a relationship, go have fun. You know, people, I find that people lie to your face now so much. It's like, I don't know, let's say I had somebody, I was living in an apartment and there was builders like drilling on my apartment floor, and it was literally just next to my window, and they were just doing some building works for like a month, and it was like I couldn't do anything, I couldn't work, I couldn't do lives, I couldn't do anything. It was so annoying. So I went down to the reception and I said, you know, there's like literally building works like next to my ear, you know, next to my window. And I'm like, how long then will we stop? And we said, Greta, there are no building works there. There is nothing there. You're imagining it. There's nothing going on there. And I'm like, do I look like I'm like a cup, you know, a mug, you know, like, do I look like that? You know, like, are you literally like lying to my face? So what did I do? I actually went a couple floors up where I could see the building works myself. And then, you know, I went down to the reception and I said, there are building works. I went a couple floors up and I saw it myself, and it's literally next to my window. And when the receptionist calls the builders, and the builders like they tell her there are no works, and when receptionist says, yeah, but she went a couple floors up and she saw it herself. And I'm like, why is everyone lying? Like, not everyone. Why are so many people like literally lying to your face blindly nowadays without like thinking that it's completely okay, like it's completely fine? You know, as long as it benefits the person, or as long as we can get away with things, we literally lie to your face. There is, you know why, ladies? Because there is no guilt and shame. If you can get away with things, people are told nowadays that like, let go of the guilt and shame. There is no guilt and shame. It's fine. You got away. It's fine. Forget. Oh, you feel bad about something? There's nothing wrong with that. It's in your head. Like, you know, whatever. Sweep it under the carpet. This is what it is, ladies. When we sweep guilt and shame under the carpet, like, for example, having one night stands, doing friends with benefits, right? Where guys go like, oh, let's be friends with benefits, right? And then you keep, you know, putting it under the carpet. You keep lying to people's faces, putting it under the carpet. Guess what? Couple years down the line, it comes to haunt you. Now you're, I don't know, 40 years old, and you never had a relationship because you're always dumped, and you feel annoyed with yourself because all you did your whole life is have one night stands. And you think like, well, this guy used me, this guy used me, this guy used me, you know, like you're annoyed, you have issues, you have traumas, you know. And what if you have these one night stands with strangers that actually totally abuse you? You have serious traumas then, you know. And when what happens, you go to the therapist office for the next 5 7 years because you put this guilt and shame under the carpet because other people were telling you it's the normal thing to do. It's not the normal thing to do, and it will come out to haunt you if you're gonna keep doing the wrong thing, if you're not gonna, you know, see the difference between wrong and right. So my point is, don't do the wrong thing, even though sometimes it's very tempting and we really want it, or we think there will be no consequences. There are always consequences for the wrong thing, and maybe those consequences are not right now, but they will come out later. And then you're stuck in like 3 years of therapy because you had friends with benefits, you know. So talking about self-love, this is self-love. This is like, ladies, women that do not have one night stands, they feel much more valuable and worthy inside, and it's so much easier for them to say no. What do you want? You want what? Thank you. Next. and we don't feel used and abused. You know, women that have one night stands and then the next day be left like a piece of trash and ignored and etc. These women develop insecurities. These women think we not pretty enough, we not good looking enough, they whatever not enough. You know, these women that develop insecurities and these women that chase guys nonstop, they are the ones that still put themselves on a plate and chase them, go like, oh, let's, you know, like, come on over tonight. We just had a date. We had one drink, which we split the bill on. And we go like, come on over. Are you staying over? You want some coffee or tea? You know, because she's desperate. She thinks it's normal. And she thinks, you know, like, maybe this guy will want me because all the other ones didn't. Maybe I can charm this guy into bed. It's sad. It's really, really sad and doesn't get you anywhere. Okay, let me see at your questions. Thank you, Greta. Some of the stuff you teach me are working for me. That's fantastic. Greta, thank you for such continued mobilized and information. That's all right, ladies. You're all welcome. Okay, so guilt and shame. Um, okay, so I'm gonna do one more topic and then I'll leave you with that, okay, ladies? But this one is really good, if not the most important one. Again, I'm doing it from my book, and it is How to Stop Arguing by Not Taking It Personally. So this is really good when you want to ignore somebody, right? So for example, they are accusing you of things, right? So actually, again, this only works, not taking it personally. Again, this only works if you have a lot of value and worth in yourself. This does not work if you're feeling insecure, if you don't value yourself, and if you don't have self-respect. This will actually not work. So let's say you're with a guy and he is, I don't know, putting you down or blaming you for something, or I don't know, he's accusing you of something that you have done or have not done. He's calling you all sorts of names, right? So I always say to the girls, you know, if a guy is behaving in very nasty ways, it basically reflects who he is as a person, right? Because a person that's a good person will, like, we will never say bad stuff to someone else, right? We're gonna be kind, we're gonna be trying to lift you up, we're gonna do what's better for you. A person that has a lot of issues, a lot of insecurities, a lot of toxic upbringing that they kind of picked up by growing up or inherited even, you know, they will try and put you down, they will blame, they will call you all kinds of names. So if you are also insecure and you had a lot of issues growing up too, when they call you these type of names, you will take it personally because it will affect your insecurities. You know, if for example somebody, your dad or mom, your whole life called you stupid, and this person that's talking nonsense still calls you stupid, you're gonna get affected, you know, because you're gonna take it personally and you're gonna overreact and fire back. If, however, you have a lot of value and worth in yourself and nobody called you stupid when you were growing up, and we were just saying like, okay, Greta, try better. Okay, Greta, you got F. Try better next time. Oh, maybe the teacher didn't know how to teach you. You know, it's the teacher's fault that you got F, because, you know, if you're gonna teach a fish how to drive a motorcycle, it will grow up his whole life thinking it's stupid. So it's the teacher's fault that you don't know, Greta, how to do something, you know, like, because the teacher didn't know how to teach a fish how to swim, you know, it was teaching a fish how to ride a motorcycle, right? So if you think you're valuable and worthy, and the toxic person is putting you down, it's gonna be like you're gonna have like this type of shield on you. Everything will just fire back. You'll just be like, you'll just be listening and thinking like, what? Like, what's wrong with you? Like, I don't get it. Like, like you have issues, man. You're not gonna take it personally because you will know your value and worth, and it's just not gonna affect you. I actually want to share one other story, which is actually a really good example. Ladies, I'm 6'3", so I'm really tall. Majority of you know it. I meet some girls, that are my fans or followers or subscribers or clients, and we go like, Greta, you're so tall. That's the first thing they say. Like, you don't look that tall in your YouTube videos. And like, you're so tall. So when I was growing up, my parents told me that tall is the most beautiful thing ever. There is nothing more beautiful than tall, because my parents are tall. And I was playing basketball, so in basketball, tall is really emphasized, like it's the best thing ever, which it is actually in basketball. There is nothing better than being tall, So in my childhood and teenage years, I was growing up thinking this is like I'm gifted. I'm totally gifted with my height, right? And obviously, I left Lithuania, and my parents, all their friends were like sporty people. My dad's friends were rowers, very tall, big people, strong men. My mom's friends were basketball players, tall girls. All their children's very tall, athletes. I grew up surrounded by athletes, so I'm like tallest. Everyone's tall is beautiful. Anyway, I leave Lithuania. I go to Ireland. I go to a United Kingdom, and it's like, and I start to get things like, oh, you're too tall, must be so hard to find a guy. Oh, you're too tall. Or I go on a date, and guys start to share like, their own insecurities about being tall. There's actually a lot of people outside of Lithuania, men that are very, very tall men, and they feel insecure about being tall, which I found completely bonkers, because I don't know anything more beautiful than a tall guy, right? A tall, fit guy. It's like, why would you be insecure? I don't get it. And these guys are reflecting their insecurities on me, and they're like, you're so tall, and I'm just like, I'm just looking at him and thinking like, are you like stupid? Like, what's wrong with you? Like, did you hit your head on the way here? Like, are you hallucinating? Like, why would you not why would I be insecure? Like, so my point is, ladies, if you have a lot of value and worth, if you've been told as growing up something really great, and you grow up and you're like put into this chaos, into, not everyone is nice out there. People try to manipulate you and take advantage of you and tell you not nice things. This is why you should not walk around showing, all your insecurities and vulnerabilities, and you should be protecting yourselves. And when you feel when you grow up in a healthy environment, you just won't take it personally. You'll think like something is wrong with that person rather than with me, so yeah, my parents are short and I'm short. They say men prefer short women. Of course, fantastic parents. I have a lot of short friends. I call them Tinkerbells, because I want them to feel like they're the most beautiful too. Like I call them, oh, you're like a Tinkerbell from Peter Pan, that cute one, that like I call them that because that's stunning as well, and it's like a lovely compliment. My point is not really about, oh, I'm tall because I'm beautiful because I'm tall, or I'm beautiful because I'm short. It's really all about feeling unique and being unique and embracing who you are. Being tall was just like an example. If, like, I remember with my parents, as I said, we were athletes. So we would watch all kinds of sports. We would watch basketball, we would watch football, we would watch athletes, we would watch ice skating and all of that, where in order to be an ice skater or gymnastics, you know, like you have to be like a shorter girl, you know, and as I said, everyone is uniquely made by God, and we should all embrace that and not compare ourselves to others. You know, and I find it again, you know, I think my parents really raised me with a lot of Catholic values, but I didn't realize that because, you know, the Catholic values, the Bible goes from generation to generation to generation. But because we didn't go to church, we didn't listen to what the priest said, I assumed that it's just how it is. I didn't really realize that what my parents raised me with were actually biblical values. And now that I'm going to church and I have a strong belief in God, and I go to church and it says in the church, the priest is reading that God made everybody unique and that we should not compare ourselves to others because we are all unique and valuable and worthy and very beautiful, and that we should all embrace our beauty in our own unique way. I'm just like, this is fantastic. Like, what could be more beautiful than that? Okay, ladies, so that is it for today. Just a quick live I jumped onto. I'm actually going to Dublin today. Wish me a safe flight. If you would like some one-on-one with me, you can always book me through my website. Um, you'll find the link. I'll drop a link in this video description. And also, as I said, I do life coaching. So if you have some issues that you want to talk about, you know, all the links are, you'll find it on my website as well. And if you didn't get it yet, you can find this book on Amazon or on my website, Devoted Relationships. When's my next live? I actually have no idea. I just felt like I have a time to do this one, and I haven't done this one for a while, so I thought I'll do this one. Okay, ladies, love you loads. Amazing catching up. And yeah, have kisses from UK. Mwah. Have a beautiful day. Thank you for watching.